Hey, this is Jersey. You're listening to the Garden State.
You're listening to The Garden State, the only New Jersey podcast that gives you all the news you need to hear this week. My name is Josh Sobo.
I'm Josh Chomik.
And I'm Jimmy Parks.
What's up, boys?
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
It's a beautiful morning. I thought we were going to have a fire sunrise on my drive-in this morning, but I don't think it actually happened.
Recording this Thursday, April 4th.
It's finally
2024. You know, when you guys went on vacation as a kid,
Yeah.
always.
did your dad ever bring a VHS camcorder?
Always.
Yeah.
If you ever watch home videos, they're all the same, like from a family vacation.
Yeah.
Dad pulls out the camera and he's like this, literally every time. We're here. What was the beach I went to? I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna do an imitation of my dad, circa 1996. What's the beach with the horses in Virginia?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Chincoteague or whatever.
That's definitely not how you pronounce it, but sure.
Chincoteague, something like that. All right, I'll just do it with Florida. All right, we're here, Orlando, Florida. The kids are all getting ready to go to the pool. And then he points the camera at mom, and mom's annoyed to be on the camera. Like, is that not everyone's experience growing up?
It says the date at the beginning.
Yeah, it's like, it's the weather's 68 degrees, January 4th, 1996. No?
It was the same for me, except it was my mom, not my dad filming.
Your mom filmed?
Yeah.
Maybe it's mom or dad, but that's how home videos just went.
Beautiful. I have to go through all mine and turn them into, put them on my computer so we don't lose those. Did you guys digitize all yours or no?
Some of them I did. I got the little tool on Amazon, and it's fun. It's really fun to watch them. It's
The longer we wait, the riskier it is.
I wonder where the fear came in of them not having the date attached to a video. Because if you look at all these camcorder videos, the date is always in the corner.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if their parents' generation started that because they were shooting on like Super 8 and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like maybe they were filming and they had to say the date. Well, Super 8 wouldn't have had audio, would it?
No.
Oh, so maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's just totally a boomer thing. I just think it's so funny. They're like always saying the date, always the same explanation. You know, we were watching America's Funniest Home Videos last week. My wife was like, she just saw it and clicked on it. I miss camcorder home videos.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's a vibe. Mm-hmm.
It's sad. We're missing out on a great period of time.
Well, now it's all iPhone.
Yeah. And
It's like vertical video. It's not the same.
Oh, there's just life looked better through a VHS camcorder. Things look nicer.
Do you think that YouTube killed America's Funniest Home Videos? Like once these videos just were out there
TikTok,
all the time.
Instagram, yeah, because now all the funniest videos are always on your feed, on your phone. You just scroll and find it.
Well, not technically. I'm going to push back on that. Because you went from AFV, and then you had Rob Dyrdek's show, Ridiculousness.
Yeah.
And that was on until like 2016, I think.
It's still on, dude.
Is it still on?
Yeah.
So people
I don't know who watches it.
So people are still finding crazy videos. I don't think, I think partially it did. Because it actually, if you think about it, I was telling someone this the other day, back in like 2007, 2008, the number of viral videos that would come out, it was like once a month or every 2 months, there'd be a viral video. Like Charlie Bit Me was like, everybody stop what you're doing, watch this video.
Yeah.
That was 2008 or something like that,
yeah.
2010. And it was like every now and again, and then they go on Ellen, and then it was like a big deal. Nowadays, every day I'll see 10 videos that would have been Charlie Bit My Finger.
Exactly.
Back then. TikTok is so powerful.
It's so much easier now to post video than it was in 2008.
Yeah, and there's just such a short stream of consciousness nowadays culturally where we move on from stuff very quickly. So there's so many viral videos. It's hard to keep up. I mean, I don't know. On TikTok, I feel like every video on my feed would have been a heavy hitter on YouTube back in the day.
100%, yeah.
So I don't know. It's kind of a tangent about the date, but it is April 4th, 2024, and the weather today is looking nice.
It's gonna be a little showery today. Still a little cloudy. It gets nicer after today.
Okay, compared to the last few days, yeah, a stray shower here and there. It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, it's not a monsoon.
What's with all the rain? Is this the April showers we've rhymed about?
We've had April showers since February. It feels like it's been nonstop. We've gotten more rain this year.
March
than in a long time.
The rainiest month on record in New Jersey.
Can you imagine living in a flood zone in New Jersey? We read a story a while back about how there's how many houses in New Jersey that are up for risk for flood? It's like in the hundreds of thousands. Let me see if I can find that fact really quick before I talk out of my butt. Flood zone houses NJ. It's good old Google search.
Oh, wow.
You find something, Jimmy?
I found coastal flooding, but there's also, you got your inland riverine flooding as well. So I'm sure this number is way higher.
Riverine. It's what a word.
I found an article, but I remember this is the article we read. It doesn't say, but there's something, hundreds of thousands of houses in New Jersey exist in flood areas.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how many people have had their homes flooded in the last few weeks. Because the rain, even yesterday's rain was, every river I drove by was high. I drove by Sealy's Pond up in the Watchung Reservation, and it was lifted, my
Raging.
brother. It was going crazy. And I drove by another river, I forget which one, the other day, and it just seems like the water levels, the table's high.
Yeah, they opened the floodgates, luckily, like, especially in Union County, a lot of floodgates were open, so that's what kept the rivers down. If floodgates stayed closed, it would have been crazier. So they've been prepared. So it seems like after Ida, after like there was some insane, like catastrophic flooding, they're really on top of their game in this area.
Why does a floodgate need to exist?
What do you mean? Like it controls the river height.
So, but why would you ever close a floodgate? Why not just leave it open?
If you leave it open, the river's gonna be empty.
dry up.
Yeah.
Well, this really goes into a whole nother side of things. If we want to
There's probably
dive
a
down,
whole deep science into it.
well, all these dams that you see, they're all man-made, right? So it's not there wasn't a waterfall in a lot of these places, right? So they were either created for industry or to control, like you want a pond to get ice out of, if you want it, to have like a water mill for power. But today, like a lot of these things don't exist anymore, and there's just been a lake there for years now. So people are just accustomed to having that. But it's becoming a big thing to remove a lot of these dams so the fish and other things can like their native like paths that they would travel would be restored. Because right now, right, your fish, it hits a waterfall, it can't go any further upstream.
Whoa. Dumb fish.
Wait a second, you're making an interesting point.
Well,
so like in Cranford, there's the mill.
Yeah.
Which is this big concrete. If you look up Cranford Mill on Google to the listeners, you'll see it. Obviously, man-made.
Yep.
Probably 80 years ago.
I'd say even more than that. But
So that destroyed, though, the natural pathway of what? Some local
types of
little
fish.
Local little fishies.
Yeah.
The trout and
the trout
sunnies.
going upstream. And obviously today, that mill, it's still there. The building's there, but it's not actively working as a mill. So
yeah, some of the motors are still there, like the old rotted, like the rusted ones. But
yeah, but it's not in use.
No,
right.
no.
So
I mean, it'd be cool if it was, but it's not.
but yeah, like historically, there was not a waterfall there.
Also, think about like a Sealy's Pond waterfall. If you don't have the waterfall there, you don't have the pond.
Exactly.
And number two, what's water flow going into Route 22 look like? Because that's right below it, and that area always floods too. So that would probably flood way more often if you didn't have a dam right there.
I don't know about that. But because when you think about it, when you're opening the floodgates, you're essentially
removing
restoring the original.
Well, you're
path
not
of the
opening
water.
the floodgate completely. We're talking you're opening it up a foot or two. You're not going down all the way.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it's more natural.
So hold on, but who gets to decide this stuff? This is what I want to know. Like this, it's crazy to think about now. Jimmy, you're making a really interesting historic point where there was a time where these were just rivers. They were just running through.
Yeah.
No dams, yeah.
If you see photos from Cranford in the late 1800s, people would hang out with their umbrellas by the river.
Yeah.
I wonder if at that time there had to have been some damming at that point because it would have been probably.
I would
dried up.
imagine.
Yeah.
But all of these natural waterways, like I think about our waterways in Jersey a lot because they're all kind of nasty. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're all kind of.
I wouldn't say nasty. It's just a little muddy.
No, I think they're nasty. When I was in high school, the Rahway River, my earth sciences teacher was like, he's like, I went and did a water test on the Rahway River for my. He had like a senior AP class, and he said we found human fecal matter in the river. So I was like, oh, great. So our waterways are just full of nastiness.
It's
man.
everywhere, bro. That's everywhere. Where are you going to find clean water in the States, huh?
I think.
Well-
So I was gonna say, I think there is. You know, I heard a video recently about. I think it would be off of Maryland, like the bay. What's that? The Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone was talking about how the water, there's journals from early settlers, and they're like, it was crystal clear. Like you could see all the way down.
Nice.
Because we get oysters from there. I think it's oysters. And oysters would eat all of the algae and other stuff, and it made such a healthy ecosystem. So there's all these different historic facts you hear about. Like that was more my point about the rivers in New Jersey is you hear these historic facts and it's like, wow, the world has changed a lot.
It's wild.
But at the same time, our waterways have improved so much over the past 100 years as well. Thanks to like the Clean Water Act. A lot of these rivers in New Jersey were really polluted and are really starting to come back right now. And if we really want to go down a rabbit hole, there's still parts of New Jersey who have these things called CSOs, or combined sewer overflows. So during times of heavy rain, the normal sewers get overflowed, and then your sewage from your toilets and whatever all goes out into the river because it's more than the system can handle.
Cool.
Yikes.
So there's a big effort to kind of replace all of this infrastructure so that doesn't happen.
I think it's a good idea.
Yes, definitely.
I think it sounds, I found that out about the Rahway River from my teacher in high school. I accidentally rode my bike in the Rahway River one time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
My brakes were broken and I just flew off the edge of this path.
Wow.
It was wild. And when I heard that, I was like, man, I was swimming with turds.
We've all done it, dude. Like, we're fine. What's going to happen?
So, I heard this quote before we move on. Jimmy will find this interesting. I was reading something the other day, and they said, at the time of the discovery of America, a squirrel could walk from the Atlantic to Mississippi without touching the ground. This was on a video of Florida. So, meaning there were so many trees, squirrels could travel for hundreds of miles without even having to go down. And it's just the kind of the change of when you start to develop stuff. Things change. Jersey's the same way. Like, I always wonder what New Jersey would look like undeveloped New Jersey if you just showed up. I guess it would just look like the woods. But
You still think a squirrel can't do that now?
I don't think so.
Really?
Highways,
True, there are a lot of
We've
highways.
fragmented
The roads
so
are going to
much.
mess up.
But it's an interesting thought to go, how connected were trees at that point where you could go tree to tree to tree?
Yeah, right
for
next to each
hundreds
other.
of miles. It makes sense. It's just forest.
Do we also want to dive down that rabbit hole and how our forests are so much more dense now than they ever
Are they really?
historically were?
Well, do you think our listeners are enjoying this
I don't think
environmental
so.
ecological
I don't
conversation?
think so.
All right, so then
I think a lot of people like listening to us because of these facts.
interesting.
Well, people listen to this podcast because they like Jersey. Like,
Okay,
I'm interested. Like, why are they more dense now?
Yeah, actually, tell us that,
Like,
Jimmy.
I'm kind of just like, yo, tell me.
I want to know that fact, and then we'll move on.
So right now in the Pine Barrens in New Jersey, right, you have areas where there's hundreds or thousands of trees per acre, where if you go back historically, there was way, way less than that. The trees were not all up next to each other together. They were had nice spacing, and you had your warm season grasses underneath it. And now it's all just choked out by just tree on top of tree on top of tree on top of tree.
Like how? Just over time?
It's less fires. That's a big part of it. Less natural disturbance.
So we had more fires like hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, historically, the Pine Barrens would constantly burn.
See, we didn't have no forest fire service back then.
So
See, these are the facts that we're so arrogant nowadays because people know nothing.
yeah.
People are like, the forest is burning. Oh no.
Well, like with the yellow smoke last summer, everyone's freaking out. It's like, yeah, but this used to be like maybe not yellow, dense smoke constantly, but forest fires all the time, man. Like that was just a big one.
Well, I was in Montana a few years ago, and it was in the summer, and there was just fires everywhere. It started from lightning and whatever. And before, humans were worried about property, right? And oh my God, someone's house is going to burn down. I was like, this place must have just always been on fire.
Yeah.
There's lightning strikes. No one's going to go and we got to put that fire out.
Yeah.
It would just burn until it burned itself out.
It was a better time.
Great time, man. Just burn.
Before
let it burn.
overpopulation, before humans destroyed the earth.
Don't be one of those. Look, we got to adapt. The world's grown. And, but it is interesting to think about. I am becoming a nature lover.
Well, yeah, it's healthy. You need to
think-
like nature.
Yeah, I like nature a lot.
If you stay inside all day and just cooped up and you're not enjoying nature, what are you living for? You're missing out on the beauty of the earth, the beauty of the Garden State. We got so much beauty out there. Go outside.
All right. Well, guys, we could start a ecological subreddit for New Jersey where we just talk about nature.
We are midweek episode now. It's ecology. We need a name for it, but ecology with Jimmy or something like that.
He just talked for like 18 minutes about
today. We're gonna talk about birds.
It's the Jimmy Parks report.
Oh man, that's great. Hey guys, I want to do the weekend recap, and I want to couple the weekend recap with the mailbag because they go hand in hand. Josh Chomick, if people want to call into our mailbag, what's the number that they can dial?
We want you guys to call in with your comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, opinions about New Jersey. There's a number you can call, and that number is
908 67 99 99 3.
You are listening to The Garden State, the only New Jersey podcast that gives you all the news you need to hear this week. My name's Cheese. I'm the number 2 Jimmy Parks Ranger of Medford, New Jersey. Giving a buzz to say thank you guys so much for the get-together last week. Had such a blast with my brother-in-law and I. Awesome pizza. Trivia was fantastic and so much fun. Met a ton of great people. Looking forward to another event. To join with you guys soon. A little thing to add this week. You guys talk about finding good places to eat, some fun places to check out around the state. You guys got to come down to South Jersey, go with us to Donkey's Cheesesteaks in Camden, and check out what even the Goldberg says is the best cheesesteak. Looking forward to it. Thank you guys again so much. Talk to you soon.
Cheese.
So let's do a little weekend recap of our first ever Garden State live and in-person party. We had a celebration of 100 episodes last Thursday, week ago today.
Yes.
And we invited anybody. If you're listening to the podcast, you're welcome to come out. And we had an amazing turnout of people.
If you didn't show up, you missed out. It
was
blew
fun.
me away how much fun this event was. It was awesome.
It was super weird being in our studio with other people than just us three.
Yeah.
I mean, like we have some friends pop by here and there, but to have like 15 people in this room.
Yeah, once.
We were all hanging out. That was because the way the party worked for people that weren't there is we had pizza and stuff. We were hanging out. And then we take people over in groups to see our studio space and take some pics of everything. And it was just so awesome to be hanging out in here. And people that listen frequently know all the little jokes we make and the little like quirks about us, and it was really funny to talk to people.
No, that was my favorite part of the event. Like everyone who showed up was like has been listening for so long. Like some people been listening since episode 1, so they knew every little thing, every little quirk like we have, or like every little thing we're into. They know because they've been listening to us every week. It's like it's weird meeting someone for the first time when they know so much about you. Yeah. And that's what made it so cool. The conversations were awesome. Everyone loved Jersey. Everyone was just a good time. And I was left speechless at the end of the night, just knowing like all these people support the program and they like the Garden State, and it makes me want to keep going.
I love that word program. It's so PBS Kids. I think one of the things that's amazing about a podcast is people feel like they know you because they listen so frequently.
100%.
And this, to be honest, guy with podcasts, all the memes say it, but it's true. This is literally what if the three of us got in a car and took a drive to High Point and we talked for an hour and a half, this is what the conversation would sound like.
And that's why we really started this, because that's all we talked about was Jersey, us three. Bunch of nerds.
Yeah, and it was, so meeting people didn't feel weird or awkward at all to me. It felt really nice.
Oh, it was so natural.
Yeah, very natural. It's a good way to describe it. Very natural, and thank you to everybody that came out. We got to do another event now because that was
a lot of fun.
That was so much fun, and I mean, people rolled deep. They brought like their friends with them. Cheese was saying he brought his brother-in-law. They were just like the tag team. They rolled up together,
and they killed trivia.
Yeah,
somehow Cheese knew every answer to every trivia question.
I still think he had a phone in his hand. He was standing behind the counter, and I had someone go check because he was getting so many questions right. It was unbelievable.
He knew his Jersey facts, bro.
We gave out little party favors to everybody when they left. And we had pizza and cake.
Cake from shout out Vivella's. Yeah, the cake was so good.
Vivella's made us a beautiful cake.
Oh, so good. Shout out to Marco from Vivella's. If you guys got to check out Vivella's in Mountainside and Westfield, and also here in Elizabeth.
Yeah, it was great.
Jimmy, what was your favorite part of the night?
Just meeting people, walking around, chatting it up.
That's the thing. It's like everywhere you turn, there was like a new face.
Yeah.
So it's like you start conversation, and I was always like, hey, so like when did you start listening? And then people just started going off about like how long they've been listening for, and it's just like there was one girl, Brenda. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys met her, but she's like, she didn't know what we looked like.
I was just going to bring that up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this was like one of the cooler parts of the night. She didn't know which Josh I was. Until like, she's like, your voice doesn't sound like the podcast, but she said that you guys sound like the podcast. I thought that was pretty funny, but like, she only listens. She doesn't have social media. So like, it was her first time like seeing us, which is like, you never expect that because it's like, oh, everyone's on social media. Yeah. But that was like pretty cool.
Yeah, there was. I didn't get that. I asked her when she came in. I was like, "Are you here for? Like, do you work here at the Vintage City offices?" And she was like, "No, I'm here for the event." And I was just like, "Oh," but she didn't know who I was, so I was a little confused. Like, did she just walking off the street? Like they were walking past and saw people.
Yeah, maybe she was with a friend.
Yeah, there was two of them, and then you told me that later. It made so much sense. I was like, "Oh, that makes more sense now." Okay, but yeah, all around the party was amazing, and I feel like we should do more gatherings. I want to do a summer event. I feel like it'd be so fun to just meet up with people.
Especially like in the summer, we have the courtyard. We could like go outside. We have more space.
Yeah, or we could do something here, or we could go down the shore. Outside would be awesome, actually. That's a good point. We have the courtyard.
We can keep the doors open, put the grill out right there.
Like, grill some burgers and dogs.
It'd be awesome.
That'd be a dream.
Okay, we'll talk it
But
through.
also, like you said, down the shore would be cool too.
It would be cool to do a beach hang.
Also, just building off what you were saying earlier, sometimes I forget that people listen to this. So
it is weird
when people like give direct quotes back to you. It's kind of
what
like,
they say to you.
I don't. It was just like they just knew stuff, like you were saying, and I was just like, "Whoa, people like actually listen when I talk." It's kind of weird.
Like someone was like complimenting on my weather reports, being like, "Yo, your reports are like spot on. Like it's so cool. You love the weather." I was like, "Dude, thanks. I'm just having fun, bro."
Yeah, it kind of scared me a little bit when I realized people, so like a good group of people showed up to hang out with us.
Yeah.
And it's kind of scary that people listen to this every week. I mean, we set it and forget it. Like we film, we record, and we throw it out onto the podcasts.
Yeah.
The different various websites, Spotify and all this. And then we just don't really think about it. I mean, we post videos throughout the week, but we don't think about, you're sitting in your Honda Civic right now driving to work on the turnpike and you're listening to us. That's weird to me. That's so strange, but it's awesome. So thank you to everybody that listens.
Don't you listen back sometimes or not anymore?
I have here and there. I listen back just for, I think here's a little cheat code. If you want to be a better communicator, you should listen to yourself speak. It's horrible, but you should listen.
That's true. No.
It's just the worst because you hear all the issues, the mistakes you make. So I try to listen for that reason because I want us to get better. I want to take notes, but sometimes it's too much for me. Mm-hmm. It's like, I can't listen. I know what we talked about. I don't want to hear it. Or I cringe at, something dumb I said or whatever.
See, like, because I'm cutting it, like I always have to listen to it. So like, I kind of already know, like if there's a cringe part, I could like clean it up.
Yeah.
But for you guys, it's different because I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes. Like you don't edit it. So like you listening to it is kind of like anyone else listening to you. You're like, I don't know what Chomek did to this episode. Like, I don't know if I said something that I shouldn't have said. But you guys usually like mark it if like you don't like something said.
Yeah.
But
I'd say
I try to make you guys sound good.
You do a good job.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying, bro.
All right, hey,
they got me locked up here.
Let's try something new this week. Glad the party went well. Thanks to everybody that came out. And we'll do something again. We'll plan something next. A lot of people commented on our Instagram saying, I wish I knew. Well, this is for our loyal listeners.
Maybe you should
only.
be listening to the podcast.
Yes, but in the future, we're going to open up an event fully on Instagram. I think we could probably get dude, if we put it on Instagram, we could probably get 200 people to come out.
It would be cool, but also it was so special because it's like, it felt like family. Like everyone, because they knew so much about Jersey and us. Like that's what made it so special.
Yeah.
Like if you bring someone random from Instagram who just sees us from our clips, like they don't know anything about our podcast. Do they even know our names?
Well, they may. They may just be less committed.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it'd be cool to do, like, imagine if we had we did like a concert.
I have a special VIP area for the podcast.
Oh my gosh. You have to ask them a question like, what's Jimmy Park's real name? And if they get it right, they go in.
Well, someone actually came up to me and was like, I know your real name.
Oh,
that's what they said to you?
Yeah.
And what did you say?
And I said, what is it? And they told me what my real last name was.
You're like, good job.
I was like, good job. Good job. You know how to internet.
It's on Instagram.
It's on Instagram.
Hey, before we get into the news this week, we want to remind you we are at our Vintage City office here in Elizabeth, New Jersey, where we had our event. Thank you to Vintage City offices for the amazing event. Yeah, we love being here. And if you would like to join us, Josh Chomick, is there a way they could join us?
Definitely. There's a number you can call for more information or a website to check out Vintage City offices, get a tour, get a day pass to come work here, see if you like it, feel it out a bit, and then come check out our studio while you're at it.
Absolutely. If you would like to come get a tour of the Vintage City offices and maybe see the Garden State glowing sign, the number is 908-259-4488. That's 908-259-4488. You can call, you can send a text, you could do whatever you need to do. Just don't send a pigeon. They probably will not find that.
We'd probably hold it captive.
Yeah, but make sure to stop by if you're looking for a space to work. They have beautiful spaces available, and we love being here. Thank you. Well, I want to try something new this week. We used to do a lot of historic sort of stories where we would tell tales of old New Jersey.
I love it.
And I think we should bring it back. You know, you reposted a clip about the Walpack Valley this week, Josh. The clip annoyed me, honestly. It was a great clip, but it annoyed me because I realized how much better I've gotten.
That was over 2 years old, that clip.
Yeah, I've gotten so much better at, I don't know, just speaking in a way that's going to be good for a clip. Like knowing, like in that video,
I thought that video was pretty good, the way you spoke.
I think even it
was straight to the
my
point.
Vocal, what is it, candor?
Well,
it's just also crappier audio quality.
I was going to say, the audio quality was so much different.
We've upgraded, boys.
Which is weird to me because we're using the same microphones, right?
This board, like all the presets and filters, and also when I edit it, like I edit my audio differently. I used to just take it straight from the old interface we used to use.
Gabagool.
Yeah, so we've upgraded. Oh, we got to bring back sound bites.
150%.
I think people miss the gabagools.
Yeah, we gotta edit that.
So let's get into some. Before we talk about news, I want to ask you guys if you've ever heard about atomic bombs at the Jersey Shore.
Yes.
Atomic bombs at the Jersey Shore, like Sandy Hook?
Well, did you know that in July of 1957, there was an Air Force C-124 Globemaster that took off on a routine flight from Delaware to Europe. The plane's cargo consisted of several nuclear bombs and one nuclear core. Shortly after the flight began, the plane had some serious issues. 2 of the engines needed to be cut, and an emergency landing was essential. The pilot was to land at Atlantic City's Naval Air Station, but the plane was dropping too rapidly.
Wow.
Cargo needed to be dropped immediately or else. Two nuclear core-free missiles were dropped into the Atlantic Ocean several miles offshore as a result. Because the missiles did not have their cores, they contained no radioactive materials. Still, they were highly explosive. No explosion was reported after the drop, and according to official reports, the bombs have not been found to this day.
Wow. So they're just sitting at the bottom of the ocean, just waiting to just explode.
Well, when people hate on the Jersey Shore, you can rest assured you're swimming with nukes.
Well, nice.
You know what's going to happen, right?
What's going to happen?
They're going to be dredging one day, getting more sand for the beach fill projects.
And boom.
Well, it's actually pretty crazy. When they do that, they filter for because back in World War II and stuff, they dumped like all these ammunition offshore.
It's an easy way to, no one's ever going to find these. So do they know the exact, the area these are in?
No, they don't know. They don't know. But here's what I will say, part about this story that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
They say they're nuclear core free missiles. I don't know. I don't know if I believe them. That's such an easy thing to say to put the public's mind at ease.
Of course, yeah, make everyone feel better.
Those things didn't have cores in them. They're not they're actual nukes. But I don't know. You dropped them in the ocean. Why don't you go find them and let us know for real? So, Jersey Shore gets a lot of hate. That people are like, that's nasty. You're swimming with garbage. No, you're just swimming with nukes, actually.
It's really not that big of a deal.
Not that big of a deal. And we're wondering why the whales are dying.
Ooh, conspiracy.
They're blowing
conspiracy
them
alert.
No, they'd be shredded if a nuke went off.
You bring up a good point, though. When they did all those like nuclear tests off Hawaii and stuff, like that must have just like destroyed whatever was living in the ocean.
Yeah.
Like,
can you imagine?
Just like vaporized them.
The more you know. I don't know. I think that's a fun Jersey fact.
Yeah. I think it's good that people know that there's bombs in the ocean.
I think that's more of what I'm getting at with the mailbag is I want to begin a segment where we really dive into some of the facts, the hidden history of New Jersey.
Especially when it's like weird or like spooky or like weird New Jersey. Like bring back weird New Jersey. Like we never talk about that stuff anymore, but there's so many weird New Jersey facts out there.
Okay, well, we'll start doing it weekly then. I'll start doing my research. And to the listeners, if you want to call into the mailbag and let us give or tip us off to something really creepy, feel free. And that's that. All right, you guys want to get into some news?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's dive in to the old news bag.
The mailbag. Oh, the news bag. Sorry. Not the mailbag.
Yeah, there's
the newspaper.
The newspaper.
The Jersey Press. A New Jersey man has been charged after buying $1,000 in fireworks in an attempt to blow open an ATM machine.
They'll certainly do the job, right? Easy.
What are we talking here?
Oh, we're talking $1,000 worth of explosives. They don't specify what. I'd imagine they're not sparklers, though.
Some mortars, just aiming it right at the ATM machine.
I mean, yeah, I don't think your neighbors would wonder what's going on when they're hearing all these explosions but not seeing fireworks in the sky.
So it's a Passaic County man is accused of setting off an explosive to bust open an ATM at a bank nearly 2 years ago. Nicholas Torres, 41 of Passaic, is charged with using an explosive to damage real property used in an interstate commerce and possession of an unregistered firearm for having the explosive, according to a criminal complaint. Torres appeared in Newark federal court on Thursday. U.S. Attorney Philip Selinger said a judge ordered that he remain held pending trial. An FBI investigation found that Torres went to a fireworks store in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania on July 4th, 2022. Classic 4th of July trip. Torres bought $1,000 worth of fireworks, according to the complaint. He provided his identification and email address to the seller. He definitely got that 10% discount. They were like, if you give us your email, get on the list, you get 10% off. Hours later, an explosion went off in Prospect Park near the Chase Bank on North 6th Street. A police officer nearby heard the boom around 12:10 a.m. early on the morning of July 5th, 2022, according to the authorities. The officer found the lower part of the ATM had been blown open. Investigators found gunpowder residue at the scene. It's a good old-fashioned heist.
So did he not get to the cash?
Well, it sounds like he didn't make it to the cash.
Because there's only like the lower portion that was blown off, so I guess that wasn't the entryway to the money. I feel like it's way harder to open up an ATM.
Yeah, so Torres was seen on a surveillance video placing the explosive before leaving in a getaway car. The FBI investigation found that the explosive was an improvised explosive device, or IED, made of magnesium, the explosive fuel, which is made out of aluminum and magnesium, and it's used in fireworks. Investigators also analyzed his cell phone and found that he was near the ATM on 5 separate occasions in the weeks leading up to the explosion complaint set. So
wait, did he just take everything that was in the fireworks and made a little explosion out of it, or did he just light up the firework? Right,
he did a little DIY.
Okay.
Welcome to my channel, guys. Today we're going to build an IED.
I mean, yeah, if you're buying $1,000 worth of fireworks on the 4th of July, it's not suspicious. It's like everyone's doing it.
Jail records for Bergen County and Essex County show Torres has a history of arrests back to 2006. He was charged with a series of commercial break-ins. In 2022 alone, he was reportedly wanted by police in more than a dozen municipalities throughout 4 counties. How does this happen? How does that happen?
It's always the repeat offenders, right? It's these guys that are just constantly getting in trouble and just brought back out into the streets. And they're just going to keep going until they're finally caught for good.
I heard a stat. I got to find it before. This is the New York Times. I found it. Okay. This is interesting. So to your point about repeat offenders, the New York Times had this article saying a tiny number of shoplifters commit thousands of New York City thefts.
Thousands?
So nearly a third of all shoplifting arrests in the city last year involved just 327 people.
That's it.
Wow.
The point being, when you look at a city like New York, you hear about all this crime. There's 300 people that are shoplifting. They're doing all the crime in New York City. So, like to the point Chomek made about repeat offenders, basically 327 people were arrested and rearrested more than 6,000 times.
Oh my God.
Police Commissioner Kichant Sewell said some engage in shoplifting as a trade, while others are driven by addiction or mental illness. So, yeah, there's repeat offenders are really keeping the criminal game alive. It's not like you're a first time offender that wants to blow up an ATM. It's kind of interesting to think about.
That's insane. Is the video on there or no? Because
I
couldn't find the link.
I didn't see a video
because I want to see
I
want to see the surveillance of the guy trying to like lay these explosives out. It's kind of whack. I'll find it. I'll throw it into the clip eventually.
Is there a video of it?
It said surveillance video, so I don't know if it's publicly released though.
Yeah, I guess he's going to jail. Maybe he'll be back out to do more crime.
Yeah, he's just going to be like let out on probation or something small like that.
New York Times thing is kind of interesting about the repeat offenders.
It's really crazy. Those numbers are alarming.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's bold to conjoin fireworks to make an explosive. It's like an interesting idea to go buy $1,000 worth and make an IED.
Especially on the 4th of July, baby. Celebrate America. America.
You know, good old fashioned bank heist on the 4th of July.
It's not these people don't think. How stupid are you?
It's probably a good time to rob a bank though, because there's explosions going off.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to light it off when all the other fireworks are lighting off. So like everyone just thinks it's normal.
And cops are probably more laid back because, you know, they're responding to calls of noise complaints and stuff. I mean, I'm not thinking like a criminal, but it's probably
do you think he set it up and then did he light it and just drive off, or did he have like a remote device, you think, where he lit it off from a distance so people can't find him running? You got to think he wasn't stupid enough to light it there and just run.
I wish.
Maybe he was.
Josh, I wish we knew.
I wish I had the video. I wish it told us that, but these criminals are just mind-blowing.
Yeah, they're ATM blowing.
It's ATM blowing. It's crazy. And he didn't get his cash. All
right, let's move on to this next story. A little bit more on the serious side, I guess, of things. The state of New Jersey is challenging New York City's proposed congestion pricing in federal court. So if you've been following the news, City of New York is proposing congestion pricing on travelers from New Jersey into New York within certain hours, so the tolls will be more expensive within peak hours.
People are so upset about this.
And the idea being this is going to make people want to take public transit instead of driving through the tolls.
They say it's going to reduce traffic by 15 to 20%. They say they try doing this in London. 16 years later, people in London are like, yeah, it doesn't help. So wow. I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea.
So now they're going to court. They're going to go to Judge Judy, and they're going to try to work this thing out. Judge Judy being federal court.
Because it's supposed to go into effect in June. That's when like the congestion pricing is going to actually start.
So here's what the article says, and let's discuss this a little bit. Federal transportation officials allowed New York to move ahead with congestion pricing without fully addressing how traffic and pollution would be shifted to its neighbors across the Hudson as drivers avoid the new tolls, a lawyer for the state of New Jersey argued in federal court on Wednesday. Now, as traffic patterns change, those New Jersey communities will be forced to shoulder the environmental burdens of the tolling program while New York receives all the benefits, the lawyer Randy M. Mastro said in his opening remarks in New Jersey's lawsuit against the congestion pricing. It's an interesting point. Nobody's talking about how this is going to impact Edgewater, Hoboken, you know, that whole area, that whole chunk of land right there, the Charter House, man, like
100%.
Which is already a disaster.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy
because people don't want to enter 60th Street and below. So they're like, let me just go the George Washington Bridge, avoid this congestion pricing. Easy. And that's why New Jersey's really upset about this.
Yeah.
Because that area is already so congested as is. So imagine that worse.
The Metropolitan Transportation Authority, the state agency overseeing congestion pricing in New York, has repeatedly said that New Jersey communities were extensively studied in an environmental assessment. In court papers, the authority made clear that the assessment found no significant impacts and that mitigations can and will be applied where appropriate, including in New Jersey, John J. McCarthy, a spokesman for the MTA, said recently. But Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey and other state officials have sued the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Federal Highway Administration, an agency within the department, for allowing the program to move forward. The MTA later filed a motion to join the lawsuit, which was approved by a federal judge. So there's this just a legal battle that's going on.
It's a mess.
And it's a disaster. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Any thoughts?
Well, you got to think, because they're concerned about like this traffic, even though the study says nothing's going to change in Jersey, it's going to be fine. All this extra money that's going to be going to the MTA from congestion pricing to fix New York City, is any of that money going to be going to New Jersey so then we could work on these roads that might need some changes so for more traffic to be coming in? Because right now, I think all the money is going to New York City, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so
that's like that's the big thing. And New Jersey's like, okay, are we going to get any money from this to work on our roads?
it's a battle. It's kind of interesting. It is a battle for commuters. You know, at the end of the day, people are driving to work, and I think the best move is to try to steal business from Manhattan. I think Governor Murphy should put insane incentives for businesses to just move across the river. Open an office in Jersey City, and we'll give you like tax-free, you know, for the first 3 years, you don't pay taxes, something crazy like that. Because you know what? These companies will move, and then New York City will just lose.
Yeah.
I mean, New York City's making so many bad moves right now. I don't know what they're thinking. Like, this is crazy. Your city's already starting to fall apart, and you're making it harder for the people that, like, these people that are driving in are the backbone of your city. These are the commuters that are working and paying taxes in your city, and you're making it harder for them to get there. Like, if anything, they should be making it easier right now to get into Manhattan. They should be making tolls cheaper. They should be cleaning up the streets. They should be doing whatever they got to do. But again, as we know, politicians are going to politic.
I just think it's ridiculous. So I think they're going to lower commuting by 15 to 20%, and they're going to get more people in public. Like, no shot. Like, that's a lot of people. They say over how many people commute into Manhattan every day? I read it in the article. I forgot the number.
Let me find that.
It's crazy. I didn't realize how many people are commuting daily.
Oh my God.
What is it?
1.45 million.
Yes, daily. That's so many people. So think about it. They want to cut that. You know, they're like, oh, congestion pricing can bring it down 15 to 20%. Like, no shot. No, I don't think so.
So their hope is like 200,000 people are going to stop.
You're going to have all those extra people going up to the George Washington Bridge, and that area is going to be just gridlock constantly. So like, good luck with that.
Well, and they also have to think about all the businesses that drive into the city. It's not just people commuting for work. If you drive into Manhattan on any given day, there's all these trucks coming in, different businesses that are coming to do work.
Well, they're saying in this article that, well, you know, if you take the Lincoln Tunnel or the Holland Tunnel or the Queens Midtown Tunnel, we're going to give you a discount on the congestion pricing. You know,
I didn't understand that with the toll credits.
Well, so if you pay your Lincoln Tunnel toll, right,
$13.50, whatever it is,
and then you drive down into the congestion pricing area, they're like, for cars, we'll give you $5 back.
But how does that work? Then you're not really paying the congestion price, right?
Those are shoot bucks.
Yeah. Because you're still paying it. They're just going to give it back to you. It's all very confusing.
You know, it is confusing, and I think it's purposely confusing.
Yes.
Well, maybe it's just incompetence. I don't know, but it's crazy to think that how complicated such a simple thing needs to be. Right? Like, why is it so ridiculous?
The part that hurts my brain a little bit here with this whole thing is all these toll readers, they're already installed and in place. Wouldn't you make sure that this is actually going to go through in the end before you invest that much money in the infrastructure of this?
Well, I thought that was just tolls in general, though. Not even congestion pricing. It's like, especially with the Holland Tunnel, it's like, let's just make it so there's not as much stop and go.
No. These are additional toll readers that are around the streets of Manhattan. This is not
on the traffic lights.
Yeah, this is not when you're driving through the tunnels.
So if you go in,
this is a different toll.
If you cross, I think what is it, 60th Street, something like that.
Yeah,
if you cross 60th, the traffic light will see you and charge you a toll.
How about going, like, say I'm coming in from the Holland Tunnel?
There's going to be another toll.
Okay, so that was my big question that I couldn't find in any of these articles. So I'm paying my $13.50, whatever, the Holland Tunnel toll price, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get into the city, I'm gonna have to pay $15 extra. I thought the $13.50 was gonna turn to $15.
No,
that's okay.
No, it's a different toll reader.
Guys, that's
crazy.
This is just real life paywalls.
Yes,
They're
that's
putting
exactly what it is.
They're putting a literal paywall. That's what a toll is, I guess. They're trying to make less, but here's the thing: there's so many issues in our world right now. The city of New York, guys, it's falling apart.
It's falling into the ocean.
People getting pushed on subway tracks. Do you see the viral video of the girl that got punched in the face last week?
Yeah, dude.
That's like all over the internet. Like, people are getting punched in the face. There were multiple women that got punched in the face. That should be our primary focus. Let's dump money into that. Not how do we get less cars to drive into the city? Are you crazy? New York's always had a lot of cars. Watch a movie from the 70s. Watch a video from the 1940s. There's always been cars and horses and stuff going on. Like, it's New York. It's always going to happen. Make NJ Transit better. You'll get less people driving in. But as far as New York as a whole goes, there's so many bigger issues than this. What is wrong with the politicians of our time where they focus on the ridiculousness of, like, tolls? Like, what are we doing, guys? You have innocent women getting punched in the face. That should be priority.
People getting pushed onto tracks. Another priority.
Remember when the people were living underground in the fall?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? New York is crazy. It's like another world.
I'm going to make you so much more mad, Sobo.
Why?
Did you hear what the MTA is also trying to do? And Governor Murphy had a pretty hot take on this.
Tell me.
As we all know, Governor Murphy, he's an avid runner.
Yeah.
So now the MTA wants each runner in the New York City Marathon to pay the toll when they cross the Verrazano Bridge. $15 a piece.
That would never happen. That would never get approved.
Murphy says the MTA is now demanding a ransom for runners, just like their blatant congestion pricing cash grab.
The marathon?
The New York City Marathon attracts runners and spectators from all around the world, boosting tourism and generating economic activity.
These politicians are sick.
That's a really funny joke. That would never happen.
Because what they're saying is, for the New York City Marathon, we're losing all this revenue for the day because the bridge is shut down.
Oh, please. They can go a day without it.
See the irony of these politicians is they attack the rich. They're like, the billionaires are ruining the world. They're so hungry for more money. The politicians, they're so hungry to get their grubby little fingers on every inch of your wallet that even people running across the Verrazano Bridge for the New York City Marathon, Governor Murphy, you better come in hot. You better fight that, man. Fight it, because that's insane.
Yeah, I think it's so insanely crazy that it won't ever happen. Like, you guys don't have to worry.
Oh my goodness.
Don't worry. If I had a boat and I wanted to just drive my boat into work, say I'm a CEO of a company, I'm a millionaire. I have a boat. I drive my boat from my dock in Sandy Hook, New Jersey, into Manhattan. Are there like boat tolls and like stuff like that, or no?
No, but you got to pay somewhere to dock your boat.
Yeah, but I guess if I'm a millionaire, I'm not worried about it. I was just thinking about that. I was like, are there boat tolls?
Also, I don't know if a boat would be my first form of transportation to work in Manhattan if I was a millionaire.
Well, if it was like a enclosed captain's area, like a heated area, it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, I'm talking like a kind of like a yacht, not as big as a yacht, but like a really nice boat.
Like if you had a heated, you could get there pretty quick.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, if you had your own boat, just dock it and say you're a few blocks from the dock, like why not?
I would take a helicopter.
You think
I would just transport.
Helicopters are dangerous.
All right, let's move on to our next story here. Governor Murphy, hopefully he holds it down in federal court and beats the case. But we'll see what happens. This week in Ocean County Mall, $1 million jewelry heist took place.
This was impressive, honestly.
This
is like straight from a TV show.
This is Ocean's 11.
It is Ocean's 11.
Ocean County Mall, more like Ocean's 11 County Mall.
Oh,
yeah!
Wow,
bam,
it's a good one,
it, man. Yeah, where is Brad Pitt when you need him, or George Clooney, whoever's in that movie? So this is a ridiculous story, and I'm wondering what's actually going on here.
Like, shout out to the thieves, bro. They just got $1 million worth of jewels.
Yeah. So approximately $1 million worth of jewelry was stolen from a store inside the Ocean County Mall in an overnight heist, according to the Toms River Police. Sometime Wednesday night into Thursday morning, investigators said at least one thief broke into Venzio Jewelers by first cutting a hole in the wall of the adjacent empty storefront.
Insane.
So
very smart.
So what that means is there's a store next to the jewelry shop. They broke into that shop because there wouldn't be an alarm on a vacant store. Then they cut a hole in the wall into the jewelry shop.
Amazing.
Brilliant.
Really smart.
Detectives said they snipped the phone and alarm cables and then used a torch to break into the large safe and steal the jewelry. Fred, a mall customer who declined to give his last name, said crime doesn't usually happen in the mall area. Obviously, it was well planned. That was for sure. They knew exactly what they were doing. It wasn't a spur of the moment. It took some time to decide how to get in there and make the robbery successful. Tom Otani also believed whoever planned the heist was extremely knowledgeable. So, yeah. I mean, these are some clever criminals.
How many millions in jewels do you think is at like a mall jewelry store? Because they got $1 million. Do you think they got like most of it that was there?
Well, here's the thing: is when you buy your bride an engagement ring, you go to get it insured, and when you go to get it insured, you get it appraised, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So an appraised value of jewelry is typically, if you get a good deal on a ring, let's say your appraised value may be higher than the retail cost of the ring. Or the materials. You know, I worked in a jewelry shop. The gold and the diamond together might be worth a couple $1,000s, and then they price it. Like if you go to K Jewelers, the markup on jewelry is typically 200 to 300%.
Okay.
So prices on jewelry are kind of fugazi. It's kind of like, oh, this ring is worth $10,000, right? So let's insure it for $10,000 because that's the retail value. When in reality, the materials of it might be worth like, I don't know, $6,000 or $4,500. So $1 million worth of jewelry that number might be, who knows how much jewelry was actually stolen here.
Okay.
It's hard to know, but I'd imagine jewelry stores have probably a high level of insurance. So everything in the store is insured, which is a whole nother, issue here is, could this have been an insurance play or something? Who knows? I don't know. I'm not going to imply that because that'd be, defamation, but who knows what actually happened. But there's a lot of room to go, well, that was $1 million worth of stuff. But nonetheless, crazy that they planned this out. And in a mall, you would never expect this in a mall.
Yeah, that's why I think it's perfect. Because it's like, people are not expecting it to happen. Like that one guy said, there's never any crime here. So those criminals knew. They were eyeing you for a bit. And also, how perfect is it that the store next door is just abandoned like that?
Yeah, if you look at the actual storefront, it's pretty amazing. How there's just an empty storefront right next to it, and they broke in. So
it's the perfect crime.
It is straight out of Ocean's 11. I mean, these people are creative, and if you look, the holes they cut in the wall to get through are like crazy. So,
like if there was another store there, it probably wouldn't have went down.
And maybe it would have though. Maybe if it was like a hot topic,
it would have been a little more challenging. It would not have been as easy, but still, yeah.
They just dressed in like those. Remember like when the goths would wear those really loose cut pants with all the chains on them?
Yeah, that's when back in the day.
I miss that era.
There's still a few out there, but
where are those kids now?
The ones that used to be goth,
like the super goths from like 2006.
Well, there's still some people living in it, but I think some people also got out of it. Now they're just normal.
Goths Today. I wonder if there's like a...
gothstoday.com.
Is Goth Today the same as 10 years ago? Man, goth was such a freaky era of time. But...
As a kid, you were scared walking by Hot Topic. Now Hot Topic's all rainbows and sunflowers. And
I always thought I was going to get like sucked into a wormhole walking past that place.
Yeah, there's like gates on the door. It's like, am I entering a haunted house? Like, what is this place? Yeah. My mom is like, we're not going in there. It's like, okay.
Demons.
Yeah.
But it's like, I need my band t-shirt.
I always wanted to go in to see what was going on. You know, the mystique. It's just like Hollister. Like, remember Hollister in like 2006?
So dark.
It's dark and like mysterious.
You could smell the cologne from a mile away.
Yeah.
The moment you walked in the mall.
Yeah, I wonder, there should be like a personal injury attorney with a class action lawsuit against Hollister because they definitely damaged some of their employees.
Yeah, from smelling
Brains
that
from all
all
the smell.
It was a good cologne, though. It did smell really good.
Which one was that?
I don't know the name. I just knew that was Hollister cologne.
Yeah.
Good times.
We had one friend that got to be a Hollister model with two friends.
Oh, yeah.
And they stood out front shirtless.
Oh, my God.
Am I making that up in my head or did that happen with two people?
I remember they offered it, but did they end up doing it?
I remember they stood out front. Definitely Jay.
Didn't Jay? Wasn't that like a bet that we made him do for a photo? I know, Jacob. Didn't we just take a photo of him? We're like, yo, take a photo next to that random model.
No, he was standing out front because this is the weirdness for the Gen Zers listening to this.
Yeah.
Hollister and Abercrombie and Aeropostale. Oh, and that probably just Abercrombie and Hollister. They used to have models stand in front of their stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what a weird time in the world where they would have just like, okay, hey,
Come on in.
You're pretty good looking. Stand in front of the store. And they're all minors. So it's like, oh, you're a good looking 17-year-old.
Yeah.
Stand in front of the store and draw some people in to make us some money.
No, wait, they were minor models.
I think they were.
No.
Most models.
Only one of our friends did it.
Did he do it?
I thought he did. And then, like, but he was already probably 19, 20 at the time.
Was he shirtless?
Right? I thought he was, wasn't he? And then the Jacob one, we saw a model. We're like, yo, it'd be so funny if you took a photo next to that guy. So we made him take off his shirt.
Time out. Mark this for a
That was
second.
us.
Okay, nonetheless, let's
So
move on.
weird times.
Crazy time in history. All right, let's move on to the next story here. Atlantic City Mayor Marty Small's house was raided this week as police probe a quote-unquote family matter.
A lot of drama in Atlantic City with Marty Smalls and his fam.
You know, I can't read Family Matter without hearing. The sound of the 90s.
So beautiful.
It's a rare condition this day and age.
It's a family matter with Marty Smalls. I love how they said it's a family matter. So the Democrat mayor of Atlantic City's home was raided by armed police officers last week in what he now calls a political attack as police investigated a family matter. Mayor Marty Smalls Sr. said Monday he was approached by two Atlantic City prosecutor's officers while he was helping his mother-in-law into the car so his wife could take her out to get blood work done around 8:30 a.m. on Thursday, Fox 29 reported. The officers then presented him with 5 search warrants on Smalls' home and vehicles. As part of an ongoing investigation, the mayor said he had been made aware of for several months. As I turn around every area of my house, 20 law enforcement officials with guns, rifles, battering rams, and more ascend to our proximity,
Sheesh.
Smalls said at a news conference addressing the incident on Monday, according to CBS News. Finally, after about 3.5 hours, law enforcement officers seized 2 of Smalls' cell phones and a handful of personal use laptops, his attorney said. Smalls said that the raid on his home was conducted in a very aggressive and public manner. So, yeah.
Is he saying that because he's the mayor, the raid on his home shouldn't have been in a public manner?
Well, he said,
like, your house is getting raided. You're not going to get.
Well, he said, okay, hold on one second. So he said, we did not deserve that. I have nothing to hide. Let me get into the politics of it. It is political and it is racial because people don't like the fact that the mayor is giving minorities opportunities that they've never had in City Hall ever before, he claimed. Small, who is up for re-election next year, went on to say there is a lot of politics going on because they know they can't beat me in an election. But the raid on the home he shares with his wife, children, and mother-in-law came just hours before Constance Days Chapman, the principal of Atlantic City High School and his former campaign manager, was charged with failing to make a report to the New Jersey Child Welfare Agency about allegations of abuse. An unidentified student at the school reportedly told a school staff member that they were being emotionally and physically abused by their parents and had previously told the principal, prosecutors alleged in a press release. When the staffer confronted Days Chapman about the allegations. She allegedly denied knowing about the first report and said she would contact the Division of Child Protection and Permanency. Instead, prosecutors allege the principal met with the accused parents to tell them what their child had said.
Oh my gosh. So she just went straight to Marty.
Yeah, so Days Campbell, 37, is now charged with official misconduct, obstruction of justice, hindering apprehension of another, and failure to report child abuse. She previously worked for the Atlantic City School District, where Small's wife, Laketta Small, is the superintendent. It is unclear whether the raid on Small's house was related to Days Campbell's arrest. But it sounds like there might be something going on here. You know, there's always something going on behind the scenes. Shall I keep reading a bit further, Josh Chomick?
Yeah, sure.
So Small lashed out at rumors circulating about the timing of the arrest. The most insane rumor to date is that my daughter was pregnant with twins and I beat the blank out of her so bad that I killed the babies and I'm going to be charged with double murder. My daughter is not pregnant. My daughter's never been pregnant. My daughter is not pregnant with twins, he asserted.
Did you guys watch his press conference?
No.
Like where he was just like going off. It's just like he was saying this all straight up to this whole room and all the audience was like, like it was so like dramatic and stuff. And then but there were some reporters who were really like just hitting him with questions and he was getting pissed. Very dramatic scene.
So let me lay this out very simply. Mayor of Atlantic City's house gets raided by 30 cops. We then find out that at a local school district, a student was abused and the principal did not handle the matter correctly, which doesn't sound like cause for raiding a house.
Hiding some things about the mayor, just, you know.
And then we find out that there's accusations that he abused his daughter and killed the baby she was pregnant with.
Even though he said she wasn't pregnant.
Even though he says she wasn't pregnant.
Who knows?
There's a lot of rumors circulating here and a lot of he said, she said with Marty Small.
And Marty's just like, hey, people just don't like me. They're trying to throw some dirt on me. So
here's the conspiratorial part is I don't know what to believe. I don't know enough about Atlantic City politics, but I do know that New Jersey is an interesting place.
Very.
Extremely.
And if you're the mayor of a place like Atlantic City, you got a lot of power. Mr. Smalls, he might be Marty Smalls, but he has a big amount of power.
Oh my God.
And
you had to do that. You had to say
why not? We had to go there.
Oh my God.
So this is just an interesting story. I want to, you know what? Let's read some comments on the New York Post. They think they're immune because they're political party, but surprised no one except the elite. They'll soon be throwing each other under the bus. That's Junie. I don't know. I have no idea. It's hard to know what actually went down. But Marty Smalls is in hot water at the Jersey Shore.
No idea what's going on there. Hopefully, you know, he never did any of these things to his kids. Hopefully there was no abuse, but we just don't know.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you know, it's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on a newspaper page. Mm-hmm. Or hear it on a podcast.
So rare condition.
Oh my gosh.
Read any good news on the newspaper page.
I didn't catch it.
me at like 8 years old, bumping back and forth in front of the TV for Urkel to come out.
I should for the TikTok clip, I should just have you saying that line afterwards and see if anyone catches it.
Oh my goodness. Marty Smalls. Little Marty Smalls. We'll see what happens there in Atlantic City. Moving on. The largest pickleball facility in the Northeast is opening in the Garden State.
Wow, this is a real shocker.
Just when I thought the pickleball hype was kind of just dying down, we're getting the largest facility in the Northeast.
I've had this business idea for so long of just get a warehouse and put pickleball inside of it.
Simple, you know, and someone just beat you to it.
The largest pickleball facility in the Northeast region is set to open in New Jersey, opening this fall the Robbinsville Pickle House.
They had to call it the Pickle House. Why is it called a Pickle House?
I would have called it the Pickle Barrel.
There's like so many better names for it than the Pickle House.
They announced it will boast more than 20 pickleball courts in the over 60,000 square foot facility that once used to house Mercer County Robbinsville Fieldhouse Sports Center. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, the Pickle House welcomes you to experience pickleball like never before.
Whoa.
The new facility represents good news to a great number of pickleball players and aficionados. That sounds like I bring good news to all people. So they're bringing good news to the great number of pickleball players. As we continue to see an explosion in demand for pickleball courts and facilities across the country, it is great to see the Robbinsville project come to life and provide local communities with a phenomenal place to play, said Carl Schmitz, a director of USA Pickleball, according to the Robbinsville Pickle House, the nonprofit USA. Pickleball is a national governing body for the sport. So what do you guys think about the pickle?
I think it's great. I think the Pickle House is awesome for pickleball players and also for tennis players, because before this, pickleball players were taking all these tennis courts over and turning it into pickleball courts. Now, tennis players like Jimmy Parks over here can have their tennis court back, right?
Yeah, please.
Well, listen,
so we might need this in more places.
This place is going to have premium lighting.
Love it.
Heated courts.
Whoa.
And get this, air conditioning.
That's actually clutch. If you like pickleball, that's pretty awesome.
The complex will also have a restaurant and bar cafe.
Oh, wow.
So once open, visitors will be able to purchase an annual membership or pay for hourly rentals to use the courts.
It's probably going to be so expensive.
Let's call a pickleball lover.
I'm just curious what a pickleball player thinks about this, if they're happy about it or if they're just like, yeah, it's no big deal. Let's see if he answer his phone.
Let's call Jordan right now.
Young Jordan, who's a pickleball fan.
Probably asleep right now.
You.
Jordan Morris.
What's up?
You're on the Garden State podcast. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Good. Did I wake you up?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm calling because we heard rumblings. We heard rumors of the Robbinsville Pickle House opening up a 60,000 square foot pickleball indoor facility.
The largest in the Northeast.
With heated courts, air conditioning, and premium lighting. What can you tell us about this?
Honestly, I haven't heard about that, but that sounds so sick. I don't know what heated courts are.
I guess they're just going to feel warm to the touch.
Is that like a thing? Like people want heated courts?
You tell us. You're the pickleball player.
I don't know. I've never heard of somebody asking for a heated court.
You could play barefoot, maybe.
I was just thinking that, playing barefoot.
Unless it's like an outdoor thing where they heat it up and it can melt snow or something.
No, this is indoor.
Yeah.
Wait, we're going to have to do a field trip there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to see if they'll invite us down to play around. That'll be my first pickleball game with you.
Really?
Maybe. I'll think about it.
Do it.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go. We're going to wrap up the podcast, but yeah. So we'll go together. We'll check it out.
Yeah, that'll be so fun.
All right. Later.
Bye, Jordan.
See you guys.
Later.
Bye.
So it seems like the pickleball fans are going nuts over it.
Yeah, they're really losing their minds. Hey, crazy to hear about pickleball growing as a sport everywhere we look.
I feel like we heard about it a lot, like maybe 6 to 12 months ago, but now I guess it's still the hype wave.
People are in.
Especially like building a pickle house like this for the winter time where people can't play because the courts are like too cold or like there's snow. So I feel like we're going to see more of these popping up left and right.
Great. So last story of the day. Taking a turn from pickleball into some serious stuff. A New Jersey man left a suicide note for his wife prior to murdering his son in a burning car. This is an absolutely
disgusting story.
Horrible, tragic story. And, you know, someone commented on our video last week, do positive stories. And I kind of almost don't even want to do stories like this anymore because they're just so horrible to read.
Yeah.
But
this is awful.
It's real life. You know, it's just stuff that's happening around us that we should be aware of. But it's dark, definitely pretty dark.
I'll throw out a trigger warning because people also ask us to put trigger warnings.
They do?
So yeah, some stories. The story about the child who was like killed by the dog. People are like, hello, trigger warning, please. And it's true. Some people don't want to hear these stories.
Trigger warning. I'm anti-trigger warning because I think it's real life. But also, like, if you're having a good day and you don't want to...
Yeah, if you're just scrolling on your feed, like, it's different.
It's more like a warning of just, like, that word trigger makes me think of, like almost like you should always put a banner that says the following content is not approved for minor audiences or whatever. Like, I feel like that's...
Something like that, yeah.
So a New Jersey father charged with killing his son and burning his body left behind a suicide note and an apology video, according to the police. Manuel Rivera, 43, penned a handwritten note and left it in the family's garage in Sayreville, according to the charging documents obtained by the Central New Jersey Home News Tribune. Cops said Rivera also recorded an apology video and sent it to his wife, NJ.com reported. In the video, Rivera apologized for his actions and said he'd see his wife in the afterlife, according to investigators. I know we couldn't live without each other, the suicide note allegedly read. Today is the day that death does us part. Wow. So on Thursday night, this is where it takes a really weird turn because he didn't actually die in all of this. On Thursday night, Rivera took his 9-year-old son, identified by the Home News Tribune as Christian Rivera, from the family's home in Sayreville, according to police. Around 10:45 p.m., cops found Rivera sitting outside a burning vehicle behind Sayreville War Memorial High School. Investigators said Christian Rivera's body was burned inside the vehicle. Investigators said Rivera killed his son before setting the car on fire. Rivera was sitting in the car when it went up in flames, but he decided to exit as the fire raged. According to police, the scene was captured on surveillance video, and cops said at no time is Mr. Rivera seen attempting to care for the victim. So this guy is just...
He killed his son, burned the car, and I guess he tried to kill himself by, lighting himself on fire with the car. And then he chickened out. He's like, shoot, why did I do this? And now he's alive, being charged with murder, obviously. It's so terrible.
So... Yeah. So there's not many more details, besides the fact that he was taken to a hospital.
Are there any charges noted or no? Not yet.
I mean, in the meantime, he was charged with murder, aggravated arson, child endangerment, and desecration of human remains. So he should go to prison for life, and there's no making this right.
And think about his wife having to watch that suicide, the note, reading the note, and also the video he left. And now he's still alive, like going through that and losing your son. That's a nightmare, that poor woman. I can't imagine. 9-year-old kid.
I have no words for stories like this anymore, and it's just too much.
Kid is so young, so pure, so innocent.
It's just so dark and evil and wicked. And it's like, there's just no words for why somebody does this sort of thing. So, he's going to get tried. He is alive. He didn't get the easy way out of suicide.
Now he could think about his actions for the rest of his life as he's locked up.
But the sad thing is a 9-year-old never gets their life back.
Nope.
And 9 years old, the rest of his life was ahead of him. And I
can't imagine the wife too.
The wife, and also there's a stepdaughter who's 26 involved, and she's going to have to live with this as well.
Scarring.
It's just so dark. And what I also wonder is, this happened behind a school. So did the school have to close? This is kind of like a weird thing to happen behind a school, to think forever they can go, oh, that's where that kid died.
Yeah, it happened at 10:45 at night. So think about school the next day. It's like,
I'm sure they had to close the next day. Weird. But if you're in Sayreville and you heard about this, maybe call in and give us some details. But otherwise, I'm not interested in even talking about it anymore, to be honest with you. It's just there's some stories that you can read them, you get the information, and it's like, I don't know what else there is to say.
No. It's very sad.
I empathize with our listeners that are tired of the dark stuff because, I read so many stories that are just so dark, and it's like, it's heavy, man. All around us, there's people doing really evil stuff to kids, to, I don't know.
It doesn't end.
And it never ends. And it's not just Jersey, it's the whole world.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with that, on that nice depressing note, it's time we end the podcast.
It's rough.
That's a rough.
Mr. Scott.
It's a rough end right there, for the pod. But for real, it was a good pod though. It was a great pod.
I don't know why I lined them up with a heavy note at the end.
I know why. Because you originally did the historic story at the end.
Yes,
and you flipped it. We weren't thinking.
That's why.
But it's fine. We're here.
Hey, before we close, Jimmy, what is a Rotary Club? I feel like you'll know this.
I don't know, to be honest with you. There's so many Rotary Clubs around. Is it a Rotary Club kind of like the Key Club? It's like the older version of the Key Club.
The Rotary International is one of the largest service organizations in the world.
Yeah. Yep.
Provides service to others to promote integrity and advance the world understanding of goodwill and peace through the fellowship of business, professionals, and community leaders. These clubs are something of the greatest generation, I feel like the World War II veterans came up with all these clubs, and our generation has no interest in community.
I just want to be a part of a club.
You ever hear people complain about there's no third place anymore in our culture? Yeah. There's no third place. It's like, well, that's because people used to go to church or they used to be involved in a club like the Elks Lodge, and you do none of that. Lodge. Like people used to go out on a Friday night, we're going to the lodge, we're going to hang out with our friends, or we're going to the Rotary Club, or like the greatest generation used to have all these ways to hang out with community, and you do none of it, and you're wondering why the world feels meaningless. Well, maybe Garden State listeners, find some community in your life.
Maybe that's why we had an event the other night.
We're starting a Rotary Club. We should start a club.
Secret society.
Well, not even secret society, but like a club of people that want to make New Jersey better. Like, what would that club be called?
Yeah, the Garden State.
Garden State Friends?
Garden State Warriors or something.
Garden State Warriors.
Garden State Superheroes. No, yeah, I don't know, something cool like that. But I think there's something cool about being part of a club or like a community like that. I think it's really cool.
In the words of George Costanza, I wouldn't want to be a part of any club that lets me in it. I think that's what he said. Is that what he says, Jimmy?
Yeah, something like that. I thought you were going to say it's not a lie if you believe it, but yeah.
I can't find it, but all right, let's end it there. We love you guys. Thank you for listening to the podcast. We'll see you next Friday. Have an amazing weekend, and let's make the Garden State a better place to be.
Every day, baby. Let's go.
All day, every day.
See you later.
Later.
You're listening to the Garden State. The Dirty Jers.